Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shay's Creations here. And this is my welcome video for Patreon. I don't know if that's how you say the name, but somehow it came up in recommendation that I should join it. I was making a post. I guess it wasn't the most positive post, even though I try to stay positive, but I've had a really hard time working my cards into what I am trying to do is make it a business. So yesterday, through all of the hard work and everything I have done, uh, I realized that basically I have a hobby. So I didn't want to feel the way I was feeling. In in other words, I didn't want to throw away my entire existence, which is in this room, based on the fact that I wasn't feeling so good about what I was dealing with. And then I turned around and started looking through some of my cards. I have some beautiful cards. I am absolutely shocked at the fact that I even made most of these cards that I even made myself. So I'm like, I don't know where, but 9 times out of 10, my cards are based on how I feel at the time. And I deal with mental health illness. So my cards are actually an addiction to mental support, because my cards help me zone out of things that normally don't bother other people. I don't want to go into what some of those things are, but just for instance, say some birds were outside my window flying around and yeah, and all that. And that was a trigger to my psychosis. That would just be an example. Just say if birds were something that I really did not care to be around. So um, it's quite a few things that are not troublesome to the average person. The blessing is I do have knowledge of other people who do have some of the issues I have, but some of them are hard to deal with. But I pretty much stay alone. I pretty much stay in my home. Recently I haven't been alone. I've been with my mate of sorts. So I'm starting Patreon. I'm listing lots of cards. I'm going to be sending freebies. I'm going to have I believe, a $5 membership. That's the price that was on the screen. So since this is new to me, that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. I do have a subscription for a greeting card in an envelope, which is going to be somewhat like a monthly um, subscription. So sorry, I needed a little bit of lip gloss. I'm sitting here sweating. I didn't want to say, but I'm having a hot flash. Terrible hot flash, by the way. Moist, well, not moist, wet. So I'm gonna do two tiers, $5 and $3. Now I just want you to know I did do a poll asking what people like for freebies, but I'm not really gonna make that what I go after. I do a lot of crafting. I need to keep whatever I'm sending uh, to the lowest amount in shipping as possible. Shipping is very expensive. I would like to keep my membership low, and I am going to tell you right now, I am extremely frugal. So that means I'm not sending anyone anything designer unless I can fit it in the post office box and still find myself being able to survive. I live a low income house, low income lifestyle, because that's what I have. I basically live on nothing throughout the entire month once I finish paying for my bills. My crafting is basically able to be done by a wing and a prayer half the time. Sometimes through surveys, sometimes through the blessing of kindness, where someone sends me a pack of paper. I can have a major breakdown when I have no paper. So at this point in time, I can't even print anymore. I have used all my 500 prints, so I was grinding cards all month long. But that's a whole different story. This evening, I put two greeting cards up for my first collection, which I listed at $6.50. They raised it to, I think, $9 and some change to cover the fees. I'm thankful for that because at least this site shows that there are fees that have to be covered. I am kind of trying to keep my mind focused on me not being able to sustain myself working my best for these last few years with my cards. It's not actually my fault because I know right off the rip I did everything right. I know so much about what I did was right. I believe it's just not for me to have an online store. It's just not for me. Maybe it's something else that I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what it is yet. I always knew my come up would never be my cards because I give away more cards than I can possibly sell. But at the same token, I know what I want more than anything in this world, and that's a gift shop. I also know I was offered the opportunity to have a gift shop twice. I can't have a gift shop where I live because I don't have support where I live. So if I was to open up a gift shop, I would have a gift shop just standing there doing nothing. I live in a community where it's more popular to buy drugs than it is to buy a greeting card. A kindness gift is not something that someone would purchase where I live before they would buy drugs. So there goes that. So and then I thought I was going to be able to move to a different community, and then yesterday I found out I wasn't going to be able to move, so I'm not moving. So I'm thankful I still have a roof over my head, so I'm not going to complain about that. I'm going to make do the best I can with what I have. And with that, I say I'm extremely happy that I did luck up on the recommendation for Patreon because it makes me believe I can still do my cards, still offer my kindness, and at the same token gain myself some type of earnings to where, or income or contribution, however you want to say it, to my journey of kindness creations. That's my online store. And I'm thankful for the two sales I had on my online store, and they're from the same person actually. And matter of fact, I need to send one more kindness envelope this month, and I believe I'm going to look for her address and send her, just a thank you card. So I would like to say I'm gonna do the best I can with what I have. I don't know how to work this site. I really don't know how to work this site. So this here is one of the cards that I listed this evening, and just to give you a little bit of, because sometimes seeing is believing. So this is one of my cards that I made quite some time ago, and I had some decent paper at one point. Now inside here you may see a little bit of glue. I couldn't get the glue. The paper is firm, so I wasn't going to try to open it all the way up and tear up the fact that it can stay like this. On my online store, I often list my cards in home decor. And I'm going to tell you why I list my cards in home decor. I have cards around here set up as home decor because I believe that they are beautiful cards. Not only that, I've had customers tell me that they framed my cards. So, and then another woman told me that she framed my card because of the design that I put on the card, and it was an item that she collected. At the time when I did the card, I didn't know that it was um, let's just say Whitney the Pooh or Disney or something. We already understand. I'm sure you understand what I mean. So of course I didn't know at the time that it wasn't supposed to be a certain way. So I made it for her in a kindness venture. So she was able to frame it. So I do list my cards in home decor on my online store because I believe they are home decor. You put this card next to a lamp or a picture frame or a flower vase, it's part of home decor for me. So there goes that. And most of my cards are tagged on the back. We already know that I don't have to explain why my cards are tagged on the back. It's the same way for Hallmark or anyone else who's selling cards and building themselves. So that's uh, that's self-explanatory. I'm sure it is. I would like to say thank you so much to anyone who joins. Here is another card, and this is the other card that's actually listed. I didn't have a way of putting both of the cards on there, so I did mention in the listing that there was glue on the card. I'm going to try my best to get it off the card, but there's a little glue here and there's a little bit of glue I can feel right here. And this is, I don't think there's any glue on the inside. No, there's no glue on the inside. And as you can tell, this card is semi, you know, and then there's a butterfly. In the listing, I also say that these cards are best to be hand delivered. Why? Postage is very expensive, very expensive. And I'm also feeling the way I feel because we have got to know even one person that we feel worthy of a kindness card that is hand deliverable. I have been in front of people that say they don't buy cards because it's too expensive to buy a stamp. And in that moment, I try to either remove myself from the airspace of someone who could say that, because if you feel 73 cents, 78 cents, just say 80 cents is too much to buy a postage stamp to mail to someone, then you should feel ashamed of yourself, because you would never you would never hear someone with a Coke habit say 78 cents is too much to spend for Coke. You would never hear someone say, oh, that candy bar that's going to put 10 pounds on me or risk up my sugar diabetes is too much to spend. So to say a kindness card is too much to mail because a stamp is just say 80 cents, 78 cents, it's a tragedy. And if you do feel that way, feel powerful to say that, because that means that you don't have anyone in your circle that's valuable in your life to give a card to, and that's okay. It says a lot about you, but don't ever, if you have a drop of kindness in you or decency, say that close enough to someone who you know made that card, because that doesn't make you look good, and it doesn't make that person look bad. It just makes you sound just like who you really are, because that is terrible to know that you don't have one person you can buy a card for or a bracelet for or earrings for and hand it to them. It doesn't have to be a card. It just makes it so sad. And I've literally recently been in groups where people had commented that they no longer wanted to do what they were doing because of the derogatory comments that people were saying by their table, or if they were having an event or something. And I kid you not, I was doing an event one day and my table was fabulous, honey. What? I did a good job. I was proud of myself. And then this lady walked up to the table and she was looking at the cards and everything. And I saw her face, so I already know she knew the cards were beautiful. Then she turned to someone and said, I'm not going to get no cards because it's too expensive to buy a stamp. And I looked at her and I said, you're absolutely right. It is a tragedy that it's too expensive to buy a stamp, especially when you walk in with a soda in your hand. That will kill you. And then I said, have a nice day. Thank you. Bye. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And don't laugh because my tooth is missing. I don't care about that either. But anyway, I did. And I said I was proud of myself at that moment because, first of all, I said something that I normally would not say because I would just not even play in the sandbox. But then I said to myself, how do you say something like that right with your hip leaning on the table? How do you say that? How do you feel good about yourself to make somebody's hard work feel, so undervalued? But I kid you not, it's already after midnight. It's actually 1 o'clock in the morning. And yesterday I went through a really bad situation of thinking, just open the window and throw everything out. And sometimes I get that way, but I'm not going to get that way. I'm not going to get that way. I said tonight I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do some eBay. So I listed some cards on eBay. Then I'm going to go to kindnesscreations.com and I'm going to list some cards on there too. But I kid you not, boys and girls, let me explain something to you. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know how Patreon works, but I have some bins full of cards. Now this bin here, I was going to take it to an event and I was going to sell the whole bin for 25. I think it was, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So I have it taped up and everything. Yeah, I think it was 25 right there on the container. So I opened it up because it's been sitting here forever and I was like, what is in there? And then turn around, I took out some cards and it reminded me of how long I had the cards, and I printed the sentiment on the card and then I decorated the card. So you see the gems and you see the butterfly. And at this time, I had a really good computer, which I mean printer, which was HP, which I was able to print on some really good paper. The printer I have now doesn't allow me to print on heavier paper, which is a downright tragedy because I paid over $200 for the printer. But the good thing was the printer was over $300 and I got a beautiful discount on it. So I lucked up on the blessing of looking for some coupons and I got them. So I'm like, oh no, and I really wanted the printer. So I ended up with the printer. So now what I do is I just layer up, it just take me a little bit more time and work and all of that. But it's okay because the paper for this printer is cheaper than the paper that I was using. This paper is about 30 something dollars a pack now. I can't afford that when I'm barely scraping to even sell a card. You know what I'm saying? Then I went through this bin and I found a whole lot of cards, and they're all 3D cards. So I'm gonna have to actually go through the bin and see what I actually have here. But I'm loving my cards. Then I thought about another thing. I said I'm feeling a certain way because right now things are different. People are not spending. People don't have anyone to give a card. It doesn't matter. I said I'm still going to keep on doing what I'm doing because I know the value of what I have. I know my product is good. I know everything. I know my supplies, my time, my everything. So I said today I'm going to work Patreon to see if I can get myself at least to keep my hobby going and put myself out there. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as my online store when it comes down to renewing my website name, because I wanted my website name to be representing who I am and my cards of kindness. I am addicted to creations, crafting. So kindnesscreations.com was available and I loved it because I was able to afford it with my last little bit of money that day, boys and girls. Woo! I was so happy. But I have had the site, I think, about 4 months. Um, that's $40. I'm paying $10 a month for my site, and I only had one customer. So by the time the end of the year comes, the only thing I would have paid for was actually having access to knowing that I had an online store. So that would have been, in more ways than one, I could look at it two ways. I threw away $10 a month, or I could say I gave it my best try. So what I'm going to try to do is find out when exactly do I have to renew my website name, because if I'm not earning at the time of renewal, I'm going to allow the name to go by the wayside. And if I have promoted Kindness Creations, then I'm going to change my online name to some of my locations to Kindness Creations, because that means I would still be out there. So what I'm working on now is not promoting Kindness Creations, just continue to promote Shay's underscore creations, because that's the name of my business, which is legally Shay's Creations with the underscore. I really and truly wish I never did do Shay's Creations because the underscore is not accepted where I would like it to be accepted. So even on Patreon, I couldn't put the underscore, so I had to put the apostrophe S, which I didn't want to do because someone else has apostrophe S, and I wanted to single myself and so it is what it is. But I have sat here this morning, and I've done the best I can. And I said, I'm going to do my video. This video is going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be unlisted. And then the link is going to be put into Patreon. So the only people who will see it are the ones who joined the membership. And I have to tell you, if you happen to join the membership, the only thing I can say is thank you. You have no idea what this is going to mean to me to be able to continue to do my crafting and actually have a place where I am only crafting, because I started my YouTube channel based on my crafting, and I was doing my crafting, I was getting views, and then I started getting, followed, and someone was asking invasive questions and stuff, so I threw away my channel. I just deleted it, and I was almost monetized on that channel. I was really close to being monetized. Now this channel that I started doing with my crafting, I started doing with my frugal foods, and the only thing that is working is my frugal meals, and that's barely making headway. But I took all of my stats from YouTube and put it somewhere, and what came back to me was that channel is basically, the hit on that channel is the Dollar Tree. So now I'm like, okay, that channel may not progress too much to anything, because the Dollar Tree has gone up to $1.75, and I'm almost positive I would prefer to make my homemade food based on other stores rather than the Dollar Tree, especially if the Dollar Tree is $1.75. If I'm going to buy a sausage and I can get a sausage for like maybe $2 or $3, and I can come off with a larger amount of sausage and a better quality of sausage, if I'm not going to make it based on that versus the Dollar Tree, then of course my YouTube channel is going to go down the drain. So I'm weaning off of the Dollar Tree at this moment. Yes, I will be still posting, whatever I have available, but I'm going to be weaning off the Dollar Tree. I can't make it doing YouTube based on a store that could close down. I want to make it on my cards, because that's going nowhere. So it is what it is. So I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. So I'm leaning towards closing down my YouTube and making another YouTube based on me, because that is who I am. I don't want to be doing foods from the Dollar Tree if that's not where I'm going to be shopping, and I don't want to fix food for a channel that I'm gonna throw away. It doesn't make sense. I can't be frugal and do that. So it is what it is. Anyway, I was going off topic, and that happens with bipolar disorder, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you who I am. I just have to say thank you. I'm going to look through this bucket, probably get about 3 or 4 more listings to put on to this site. I'm kind of leaning towards not even sharing the link, because I feel like I'm begging sometimes, and I have a real bad thing with begging. So I think I'm going to take the URL, just put it in probably my YouTube, and not even on my listings, like inside the profile. And if someone happens to find me, they find me, because at this point, I'm to the I don't know. And I can't keep giving out cards when I'm not able to sustain the venture of doing what I want to do, even if it's just a hobby. And the reason why I've come to terms with the fact that it is a hobby is because I'm not earning. And in order to say it's a business, you have to earn enough to substantiate the business. So terminology wise, it is a hobby. So there it goes. And now that I realize that, I have to figure out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to do this. Because yesterday I actually felt like parking my car somewhere in a whole different neighborhood, because my car has my name on it, and then come back home and see what happens if my phone rings. I'm like, oh no, what kind of mess is that to be thinking? What kind of mess is that? So I said, you know what, it is what it is. And if I have to just chuck it up and just do my cards and, figure it out, I'll just do my cards. I'm doing my cards regardless, because they help me. But I have to say, this here is it seems like a very fun adventure. And then on top of that, I get to, if I do get patrons, I'm going to, I already know what I'm going to do, because I'm a lover of this type of stuff here. So I'm going to be sending out stickers. I'm going to be making little bags with the little gems, and I'm going to put it together. I'm going to put maybe a card in an envelope, put some stickers, put some glue strips, and let the person be able to make their own card. This right here, boys and girls, is right up my alley. I did not know anything about this, so I'm like I said, I'm still learning. I love ribbons. I don't know how to make the bows and stuff, so I will be cutting off probably some ribbon, put it in the envelope, and I want to keep I want to keep under $5, but I'm not going to be able to um, keep under $5 and then mail something that costs more than $5. It's not going to help me with my supplies. It's not going to help me with postage. It's not going to help me with any of that. Now the good thing is I'm sitting on over $400+ worth of stamps, so I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. I may even, throw in a stamp or two, just in case someone want to send a kindness card through the mail. But this right here, boys and girls, is going to make me very happy, especially when I get like 3 or 4 mystery envelopes that I might be able to mail out, because I'm going to do the $3 is going to be for the monthly card. Now, I'm not going to put up a set monthly card, none of that. I'm going to sit on the computer. I'm going to have ChatGPT probably design me a card that no one else has. And just say I get 5 cards to send out for the month. I'm going to send 5 of those cards out for the month. And most likely, I'm going to get to know the person already. So I'm going to know if they're going to be sending it in the mail. If I luck up on a stamp, on a sale with stamps, and I don't really have to worry about the cost. I'm going to throw a stamp in there if I, whatever the case may be. I would love to send without envelopes. That would remove some of the cost, especially if you're not giving the card to someone through the mail. An envelope doesn't necessarily have to go with it. I do see a lot of eBay listings now without an envelope. If you have any idea how hard it is to struggle to keep up a hobby like this and then add an envelope, and I've spoken to people, I've even purchased from people on eBay that I saw maybe a card was like $2.50, and I'm like, how are they selling that card for $2.50? They are not earning anything. So, and I'm not speaking ill of anyone. So one day I made, I think it's a 3 card purchase from a few people, and when I got the card, I'm like, oh, now I see why the card is what it is, because as soon as I got the card, the front was firm, but the back wasn't, and he was able, it couldn't even stand up on a table. And then I contacted one lady, and I said, I did the math, in the profit calculator, and I said, do you know that you're not earning anything? She was like, I just do this just to have something to do. And then I said to myself, well, good golly, you can afford to ship free like that and then pay fees? Because I was like, but I said, no, I'm not going to play in the sandbox. Um, they get their fees regardless. Regardless, but I'm not going to lie. I really and truly want to try Etsy again. I found some beautiful cards that I made. I want to try Etsy again, but the reason why I can't try Etsy is because when I got my first sale on Etsy, I think the sale was $15, and Etsy made I think $8 and change. Whatever it was, Etsy made more than I did, and there was no way I was going to continue to work with that. No way. I understand that everybody's site has fees. We already know. You brick and mortar has fees. Right here, I have fees. You don't want to sit down and craft all of that, and then the site makes more than you. It's a disrespectful slap in the face. And then at the same token, one of the reasons why I don't want to do Etsy is because the amount of fees that the buyer is paying for me, I can't do that to my buyers. I can't do it. Now, what I did, what hit me hard yesterday was when I found out legally the profit that's supposed to be on the price of everything that you're listing handmade. And I've been underselling myself for quite some time. And it says I was watching a video, and basically if you are not bringing that to the table in profit, you might as well just stop doing whatever you're doing, because it's not, you're not doing anything besides wasting your time, and you're basically giving away everything that you worked hard for. And it does make a lot of sense, even if I'm just a hobbyist, which I'm not a hobbyist in real terms, because I legit have a business. So I got to figure something out. And I went through the stats. I worked with the profit calculator today and everything. And each of my cards, my printed cards, should be listed at $4.14 a card. And I couldn't do it. And then on top of that, in order for me to get to where I needed to go, I had to list with shipping, because if I didn't, I really undercut myself. So I have listings on eBay where the shipping is included, and I didn't price for the shipping, which means I'm going to lose out on those listings regardless. But I'm not going to go and edit those listings. What I'm doing now is listing, and I'm putting the shipping there because it makes total sense if you're a buyer with common sense. If you're not a buyer with common sense, then it doesn't make sense to you. And as hard as it is for me to say it, I'm just going to be honest. What item can you take to the United States Postal Service and they ship for free? What item can you go into a store, package up, walk to the counter in the United States Postal Service and ship it for free? You can't. You can't go in a store and get buy one, get one free and it be free. It's not free. It's not free. If you don't know wholesale, if you don't know wholesale and retail, you don't realize that you're not getting anything in that store for free. Somebody's paying for that stuff that you're getting in that store. Now, I'm going to tell you something else, and I hope you still love me at the end of the video. There's a lot of companies that are basically everything they get is made in China. But you have a whole lot of people hating on Temu. Why? Because they say Temu's undercutting everybody. That's not true. I did a lot of research, and there's a lot of main top companies that Temu is supplying. If you look into Alibaba, just look into Alibaba, one of the most popular beauty stores right now. If I wanted to, all I had to do was go to Alibaba and buy their item with Alibaba's label. Right now, I have about 15 to 20 bottles of body wash I purchased from the Dollar Tree. That body wash is Bath and Body Works body wash. Yes, it is. And it was so funny because when I realized it, no, first of all, Victoria's Secrets is in the Dollar Tree. And that was the one that I noticed first. And don't think I'm going to tell you which one it is, because I buy it by the case and I use it for gifting sometimes. But I got another hustle and grind that I'm going to use it for, so I'm not telling anybody what it is. And this is not that video, so it really doesn't matter one way or the other. So the very first thing I noticed when I noticed this said item was that it was Victoria's Secrets. So I purchased a case of it to have at home, and I gave a few of them away without telling what brand it was. A few people was able to guess it because they smelt it. And then turned around, I lucked up on one that was from the Bath and Body Works. And I have a lot of that in my shower right now. And so, but just recently, someone did a video on another one, and I went to the Dollar Tree looking for it, and they only had 2 bottles, but I didn't want 2 bottles. I wanted the entire case. So I went to dollartree.com and it wasn't there. Anyway, Native was in the Dollar Tree just recently, and I cleaned up on that one. But I kid you not, I don't take baths that often because sometimes it's hard for me to get out of the bath. So a few weeks ago, I was really feeling a certain type of way. So I put a lot of hot water in a tub, and I got a tub, and I put the Native from the Dollar Tree in. Oh, it was a heavenly bath that day. My skin was moist and soft and smooth and everything. But I kid you not, they get the good stuff. They get the good stuff. You just have to know. But I'm going to give you a little piece of information, since this is going to be in my Patreon, so I can give away a little bit of secrets. If you have a cashback app and you shop Dollar Tree, you might as well buy the case, because you already use the item. Why run to the store and buy a few and buy the case and then get your cash back? And then after a while, you'll notice. And then if you have Fetch, you're also going to get 25 cents cash back. So you're going to get cash back twice. Then you're going to have the case. Now, just say you have about five families, five members of your family. You don't have to all live in the same house. All you have to do is part your items down in whatever quantities you want and have each person give you the amount that it costs if they would have went to the store. You got back that portion and you got back cash back twice. There's your tip. So I'm making it useful, right? So there you go. So I try to tell people these type of things all the time, and sometimes it registers, sometimes it doesn't. If you now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real funky with you. I have purchased some items that were unbelievable in a hustle and grind. I'm not even leaving a review on anybody's site because I actually need that hustle and grind not to go anywhere. A lot of people don't realize that there are times when you need to leave a review, especially if you want other shoppers to be making informed decisions about the items. So I do leave a lot of reviews. I do review for some companies. Walmart is one, Wayfair is another. The other one is in Canada. I forgot who they are. But anyway, I'm not getting any points for naming these people, so I don't really need to name them. Anyway, um, you see what I'm saying, right? But if you get, just say, just say you're grinding, you're making money, you're earning, you're selling this stuff, this is your stuff. Just say you purchased the item at Walmart. You're not going to want to say, I'm selling this and I purchased at Walmart unless you're earning on the option of how you got those people to know that you purchased it at Walmart. And then I know I just confused you, so I confused myself, so I'm going to say it a different way. I'm not going to tell someone I purchased that from Walmart unless I'm getting paid from this location where this video is going that I just gave you that secret. Because if I need to sell that item that I got from Walmart and I'm telling everybody I purchased it from Walmart, I'm not going to sell it after a while. Everybody's going to have it already. So I got to be getting my money some way, somehow, by telling you that I got that from Walmart. And that option would have to be me now making my money through Patreon to where I can spill some of my secrets because you are helping contribute to my household. If you weren't, then there would be no way I could give you the gold. And if you really want to know the truth, just ask Amazon. Are they giving you any secrets? No. Can you go to Walmart and ask them to give you some secrets? No. Now, there's a lot of secrets we already know about some of these places, but you don't really see people giving away all of the cookies and cream unless they're earning on how they're giving you those cookies and creams. So in that format, I've seen YouTube videos when they say, oh, I'm so happy that you're giving this information and you're not asking us to give you anything. This is what we should be getting. But then you look at the person's following, you know they're getting a paycheck. You know they're already monetized. What the hell does it matter if they gave you the secrets or not? You're already paying them by monetizing their channel. So then you have some people making these comments that make absolutely no sense. So I realize I'm not going to be monetized on YouTube. I'm just not. Not if everybody is looking for me to stay a shopper at the Dollar Tree. It's not going to happen. That's not what I want. I love my YouTube. I'm actually working on a cookbook right now based on my YouTube. And I'm also moving in towards all these food, Lidl's food, Amazon's food. Although I haven't purchased anything outside of food from Amazon this month, I'm doing a great job of weaning down. I've also already closed my Prime and everything because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't realize was going on. And I just needed to do a few things that helped me. My rent just went up over $300, and it's a mistake. It's actually a mistake. It's a glitch in the computer, and they can't fix it. So again, I'm not even gonna lie, I actually did cry because it's really a hardship to me what I have to live with right now. But every morning I wake up and I rub my bed and I pray to God and thank you for my ceiling above me, because if I didn't have that ceiling, that means I wouldn't have no shelter. And after sleeping in my car and living in a homeless shelter and all that stuff I've been through, I would rather just give them everything I have to give them and have nothing. But it's a terrible thing to know that you can barely drive around two corners because when the gas run out, that's all the money you have. And I actually contemplated on selling my car. It's already paid off, and goodness gracious, to have a car, as long as I've had a car, and I'm still under 75,000 miles on the car. I mean, I really don't drive anywhere, but I don't want to have to get rid of my car. Anyway, I went way over on this video. I wasn't supposed to make this video this long. But anyway, this is my Patreon welcome video. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day.